Well, our heroes are all at sea, for Boris Badenov has tricked them into a leaky lifeboat, cut the cables, and watched them drift away in the fog. Little does he know that the boys have taken the priceless mooseberry bush with them, disguised as an old gentleman named Uncle Chumley.
Hey, Bullwinkle, this boat is leaking.
You know, I got the same sneaky feeling.
We gotta find something to plug up the holes.
I got this one stopped.
Yeah, but what about that one?
You might lend a hand, Uncle Chumley, instead of just sitting there.
Bullwinkle, I got an idea.
What is it?
Stand on your head.
Is that your idea of an idea?
Quick, we can use your antlers as plugs.
Sure enough, as fate would have it, when Bullwinkle stood on his head, the points of his antlers just fit the holes in the bottom of the boat.
It's working, Bullwinkle. You stopped the leaks.
Shows what you can do if you just use your head.
Now all we have to do is wait for the SS Andalusia to find us.
I hope they hustle it up. My brains are getting soggy.
Don't worry, they'll pick us up in a couple of minutes.
Rocky wouldn't have been so confident if he knew more about the Andalusia, for she was under the command of Captain Peter Peachfuzz, the world's worst sailor. Even as a youth, Peter Peachfuzz had wanted to be a captain, but something always went wrong. At 18, Peter joined the Navy, where, due to his sailing through the Panama Canal in the wrong direction, he wound up in command of the only icebreaker in the South Seas.
Half ahead, port. Stand by to jettison the supercargo. Tippecanoe and Tyler, too. On the double.
His seamanship won him scores of medals, all donated by the enemy. And a nickname was bestowed on him by his grateful shipmates, Wrong Way Peachfuzz. After his military service, he assumed command of a smaller vessel plying the coastal waters. Then one day, a maiden aunt died and left him $100 million. Of course, Peter's first act was to buy the SS Andalusia and hire himself as captain. His second act was to run right into the Brooklyn Bridge.
Hard astern. Block that kick.
Next day, after he tried to sail the Andalusia up 42nd Street to Times Square, his officers held a special meeting.
He's a mutton-headed idiot. Couldn't command a boat in a bathtub. He's a bird brain. As a bird lover, I'll resent that.
Yes, gentlemen, he is an incompetent nincompoop. He really has only one qualification.
What's that?
He's the captain.
But we gotta do something.
I think I have a plan.
And so late that night, the officers watched as the ship's carpenter quietly disconnected the captain's steering wheel and telegraph. Of course, Peachfuzz never noticed the change.
Lay aloft! Hold that line!
But the ship was actually run from another set of controls on a lower deck. Unfortunately, while all the other officers were searching for our heroes, Captain Peachfuzz made a wrong turn and wound up in the right room. The result was instant panic. The Andalusia spun around in circles and then started off at full speed in all directions at once.
Hear that, Bullwinkle? Won't be long now.
Hey, here we are.
Hokey smoke, Bullwinkle, get up. The steamer's heading right for us.
Look out!
And the tremendous bulk of the SS Andalusia swept past without even slowing down.
Boy, that was too close for comfort.
Yeah, if I ever catch the nitwit who's steering that boat, Nothing personal, you understand?
Look out, Bullwinkle! Here she comes again! This time she's really going to run us down!
And sure enough, the knife-like prow of the huge ocean liner struck the lifeboat squarely in the middle. Don't miss our next episode, The Deep Six, or The Old Moose and the Sea.
And now it's time
for 5 or 6 baritone solos in the key of E.
But
Ooh.
now for another of our special features.
Should have tried E flat.
Words of wisdom are food for the mind, right, Junior?
Right, Pop.
All right, then. Is your head hungry?
Famished.
Good. Open wide, and I'll feed it. You ready?
Shoot.
It is one thing to propose, but quite another thing to execute. That, my boy, is a very wise saying. Feel smarter now?
No.
Yeah, I thought so. No. What do you mean, no?
I don't understand what it means.
It means easier said than done. Simple?
Yeah? But I still don't get it.
Well, then I shall tell you the story of the mice who belled the cat. That'll explain everything. For years, the mice had been living in constant fear of their archenemy, the cat. Never did they have a moment's rest, for the cat would ambush them, chase them, jump up and down on them, and toy with them every chance he got. Finally, the poor little mice could stand it no longer, and they called a meeting to see what could be done about their dreadful situation.
Something's gotta be done. Look, I already got a gray hair. And I'm a nervous wreck.
The whole trouble is that cat's too quiet. He's always pussyfooting around. We can never hear him coming until it's too late.
Many plans were discussed and rejected. Then at last, a young mouse named Murphy got up and proposed.
Oh, why don't we just hang a bell around the cat's neck? Then we could always hear him coming in time to make a getaway.
Murphy's plan was very well received, and it was immediately put to a vote.
All those in favor of Murphy's idea, say aye.
Aye.
Now, being that it's Murphy's idea, all those in favor of letting Murphy bell the cat, say aye.
Aye. Aye, aye, aye. Nay, nay.
But the ayes had it, and Murphy was elected.
Good luck, Murphy. Anything you'd like to say before you go?
Yes, I got a big mouth.
Having no choice but to at least try, Murphy set out to find the cat, which, as he feared, was no trouble at all.
What have we here?
Would you believe me if I told you that I'm a beaver?
What do you think?
I think you think I'm a mouse.
That is correct. Food?
And Murphy was forced to flee for his life, narrowly escaping capture by ducking through a hole in a fence inches ahead of the cat.
Oh, that was a close one. If I ever expect to get this bell on that monster, I'll have to think up some way to trick him.
Reasoning that his task should be quite simple, if only he could put the cat to sleep, Murphy quietly crept up behind the cat and ever so softly whispered into his ear.
Rock-a-bye, pussy in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. Oh, boy, it worked. But just to make sure, are you asleep, cat?
What do you think? Food?
I think I goofed.
That is correct.
And again, Murphy had to run for his life.
This time I'll take a more direct action. I'll knock him cold. Then he can't play tricks on me.
And boldly walking right up to the cat, Murphy hit him with all his might.
Well, hello there, Food. Oh, what a shame. You broke your bat.
So I did. How do you feel?
I got a slight headache, but other than that, just fine.
Would you consider giving me a 5-minute head start?
What do you think?
I think it's out of the question.
That is correct.
Now, Murphy was not a mouse to give up easily, and striking on a plan with which to outsmart the cat, he carefully put the collar with the bell into a box, wrapped it as a gift, and then placed it where the cat would be sure to see it.
To the nice cat from a friend. Oh, boy, a collar with a little bell on it. Oh, just what I've always wanted.
The cat quickly put it on and was overjoyed with his new gift.
Ting-a-ling, ting-a-ling.
It worked. Never again will he be able to sneak up without us hearing him. Ah, he's coming now. He won't fool me this time. He's coming from that direction, and he's getting closer and closer. Now I can get ready to run because he's right. Whoops.
Ice cream. Get you nice ice cream right here, ice cream.
Well, what do you know? Well, if that's Ice Cream Man, what happened to the cat?
What do you think?
I think this is the biggest boo-boo I've made yet.
That is correct.
And so you can see, after all was said and done, more was actually said than done. You understand now, Junior?
I sure do, Pop. The moral of the story is that if you fool with bells, you're apt to get told off.
Huh? Yeah, well, yeah, that's one way to put it, yes.
Remember that last time our heroes found themselves in a leaky lifeboat dodging a runaway ocean liner. One time they forgot to duck, and the sharp bow of the steamship struck their tiny craft right in the middle. When it passed, there was nothing left of the lifeboat but splinters. Fortunately, Bullwinkle had been able to grab onto part of the ship's anchor, and our heroes dangled far above the waves as the liner plowed on. Meanwhile, in their cabin, Boris and Natasha were very despondent.
Boris, how could you let them sail away with the mooseberry bush?
Bush was disguised as old men. Did I know they'd help old men into lifeboat? I wouldn't. Help! It seems to me I still hear that idiotic voice calling, "Moose overboard!"
Look, outside porthole.
His ghost.
No, it's Bullwinkle.
Who is it, Bullwinkle?
It's that there nice English type fella, Sir Thomas Lippenboris.
Well, tell him we got his Uncle Chumley here.
Uncle Chumley. Quick, Natasha, get help.
And a few moments later, our friends were hauled on board.
Uncle Chumley. This is a bit of all right, what?
Let us take you to cabin, darling.
He's sure a brave old fella. Didn't hear a peep out of him the whole time.
Hey, what's happening?
Abandoned ship! Captain Peach Fuzz is at the wheel!
Sure enough, Captain Peter Wrongway Peachfuzz, the world's worst sailor, gained entrance to the real control room and was now in full command.
Full speed astern ahead. Port your helm. Knit 1, furl 2.
Hang on, Bullwinkle. Looks like a rough trip.
Yeah, and I wonder where to.
Bullwinkle wasn't the only one concerned about that, for the Andalusia was long overdue at her destination. Nobody knew exactly where she was.
Guam calling. Andalusia just passed here headed south. North. Oh, never mind.
Commander, I think I've got a ship on the radar.
Nonsense. Nobody would steer a ship like that. The radar's out of order.
But the commander had reckoned without Captain Peachfuzz, who could and did steer a ship exactly like that.
Gee, Bullwinkle, we should be getting near Pennsylvania by now.
Land ho!
Oh, boy, we're Pennsylvania at last.
Yeah, I could tell because of the windmills and all them tulips.
Windmills, tulips, that's Holland.
But at that moment, Captain Peachfuzz was picking a new course.
Aha! Come right 200 degrees centigrade. Reef the forecastle. Play ball.
And the steamer headed out to sea again at full speed. Radio messages crackled round the world.
Hello, Andalusia. This is the Coast Guard calling. Come in.
But unfortunately, Captain Peachfuzz kept his radio tuned to another station entirely.
And in the National League, it's Dodgers 3, Cards 2.
And in their cabin, our heroes waited for the boat to dock anywhere.
Hey, Rock, I think we're there.
What do you see?
Oh, there's a whole lot of people waiting on the shore. Looks like a formal reception.
Formal?
Yup, everybody's wearing tuxedos.
Oh, Bullwinkle, those are penguins. We must be near the South Pole.
Whoa, we better ask for another blanket.
But keeping from freezing wasn't the only problem facing our heroes, for as they sat down to dinner that evening, they found with a shock that their food had run out.
Bullwinkle, if we don't make port soon, we'll die of malnutrition.
I'd rather starve first.
Will our heroes end up wasting away to ocean-going shadows? Don't miss our next episode, The Slippery Helm, or Captain's Outrageous.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
But that trick never worked.
This time for sure. Presto! Well, I'm getting close.
And now it's time for another special feature. And now it's time for Bullwinkle's Corner.
Hello. Today's poem is Wee Willie Winkie. Wee Willie Winkie runs through the town, upstairs and downstairs, in his nightgown, peeping through the windows, crying through the lock. Are the children in their beds? For it's now 8 o'clock.
George, there's a prowler outside. Help, please!
Uh-oh.
There he goes! Hit him off! Hold it, you. Up against the wall. Okay, what's your name?
Wee Willie Winkie.
Hello, R&I. You got a mate on a mug named Winky? Why the candle? You a firebug or something?
Sir, I am a moose.
Okay, Jack, into the wagon.
Look at that, Rock. That's just terrible.
How come?
Why, they spelled Bullwinkle with only one L.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
But...
See? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Wrong hat.
And now it's time to meet Mr. Peabody.
Hello again. Peabody here.
Shall I set the Wayback Machine, Mr. Peabody?
Please do, Sherman, for the year 1807.
And the place?
New York Harbor and the banks of the Hudson River, where we'll meet Robert Fulton. In the flash of an eye, Sherman and I were transported to the end of a long pier. In front of us was Fulton's so-called Folly, the steamboat Claremont. Oddly enough, she wore a for sale sign.
Either of you interested in purchasing a boat?
No, thank you, Mr. Fulton.
She's very yar. Make a nice gift for the folks back home.
Why is the Claremont up for sale?
The race. Today's the day I'm supposed to race against Robert E. Leach's clipper ship. That's her over there at the starting line. And that's Leach leering over at us. He's the meanest skipper afloat. Only way I can prove that steamboats are faster than sailing vessels is to beat him in a race.
Why doesn't Mr. Leach believe in steam power?
He owns a sail factory.
Oh.
Then race against him and beat him.
Can't.
Why not?
On account of every time I get out on the water, I get seasick.
Can't you take pills?
Pills you have to swallow with water. And I get ill just looking at a glass.
I'll bet Mr. Peabody could help you.
What can you do, Mr. Peabody?
Practically anything, Mr. Fulton. We boarded the Claremont and cast off from shore. And just in time, too, for the signal was given. And the race was on. The Clipper was a speedy craft, but no match for the Claremont, and we quickly forged into the lead. Sherman and I were behind the wheel. As for Fulton, he wasn't in the least bit seasick, mainly because I had decorated his cabin walls with a mural. The Arizona desert. A man could never get seasick out there.
This sure is exciting, Mr. Peabody.
By the way, how high is our steam pressure?
300 pounds, Mr. Peabody. Whoops, I mean 0.
What?
Something must be wrong. We're slowing down.
A quick investigation of the boiler room showed that our engine crew had deserted.
Look out the porthole.
Ah, so Mr. Leach is behind this.
That Claremont is moving so slow, you'd think it was a hotel.
Shall we give him the secret weapon, Captain?
Not yet. We may need it later.
How much pressure is there now, Sherman?
200 pounds, and she's climbing fast.
Excellent. At this rate, we'll catch Leach in no time.
But golly, without a crew, who's firing the boiler?
Go and see. Sherman was amazed to find Robert Fulton busily shoveling coal. You see, I had painted the engine room to look like the North Pole and told him he'd freeze if he didn't keep the fire going. It wasn't long before we were narrowing the gap between ourselves and the Clipper.
It grieves me sorely to report this, Captain, but you know that steamboat behind us?
Yes?
It is now in front of us.
What? Quick! Lighten the ship. Throw all the excess baggage overboard.
We tossed everything over the side, Captain, but we're still not making any headway.
Then the ship must be made lighter. How much do you weigh, Fortescue?
185, Captain.
Well, give my regards to Broadway.
From the looks of it, Sherman, Mr. Leach is approaching his wit's end.
And we're pulling away from him every second.
Think they have me beaten, eh? Well, I still have my secret weapon.
Well, that's not fair, Mr. Peabody. Robert E. Leach must have 100 men rowing for him.
Yes, and they're using the Harvard stroke, I believe. Oh, well, Sherman, to misquote an old adage, where there's fire, there's smoke. So saying, I took a large container of black ink, poured it down the Claremont smokestack, and moments later we were discharging a dense smoke screen. Needless to say, our adversary's vision was thoroughly impaired. So much so, they ran aground. The Claremont was an easy victor. You may stop shoveling, Mr. Fulton. The race is over. You've won.
I can't stop. You know how long these winters are up here.
Our job completed, Sherman and I stood on a pier as the Claremont proudly steamed her way back down the Hudson.
It would have been just awful if Robert E. Leach had won the race, wouldn't it?
Yes, but at least we have one thing to thank him for.
What's that?
The term paddle wheel. Appropriate punishment, don't you think?
Well, the ocean liner bearing our heroes is still sort of lost at sea, with Captain Wrong-Way Peach Fuzz at the helm. They have gone more miles and got less places than any ship in the world.
X3 Andalusia approaches Point Them, boy.
X3 Andalusia hits Point Them, boy. Damage great.
And to make things even worse, the ship has now run out of food.
Boy, am I ever hungry.
Yeah, me
Just
too.
looking at pictures of food makes my mouth water. Bullwinkle, what are you eating?
I just couldn't resist the picture, Rocky, so I ate it.
Okay, give me a page.
Here's a fruit salad with cottage cheese.
Delicious. Here, have a picture of standing rib roast in full color. How is it?
Well, I really like it a little more well done.
Meanwhile, in the cabin just next door...
Boris, Mooseberry Bush has lost the will to live. What are we going to do?
Get me central control. Hello, fearless leader? This is Boris Bedenoff, your friendly neighborhood spy speaking.
Come in, friendly.
Bush is in bad shape. What do we do?
Who needs bush, you idiot? All we need are mooseberries.
Natasha, quick, pick berries.
Shall I keep this one, Boris?
No, it's too little. Throw it away.
Boris, what happened?
Remember, picked mooseberries are very explosive. Do not shake, rattle, or roll.
Now you tell us.
Boris, how we're going to keep Mooseberry safe?
Easy. You sit here, I sit here, Mooseberry sit there.
But Boris had reckoned without Captain Peach Fuzz, who at that moment decided to change course.
Hard up port! Course 5440, or fight!
Boris, look!
As the boat heeled over, the closely guarded mooseberries skidded toward the porthole and out.
Oh, boy. Must be snack time.
You!
Howdy, Sir Thomas. Have a yummy?
Those berries, they're...
Oh, yeah, they're delicious. Want to see me throw one up and catch it in my mouth?
No!
Oh, it's easy. Gee, these got kind of a kick to them.
Boris, he's fainted.
Anything wrong, Lady Alice?
Oh, no, it's just the heat.
The heat? I ain't been this cold since I left Frostbite Falls. Brrr.
Don't shiver, don't shiver. If Moose jiggles those berries, we all go boom. Come in, old pipsqueak. Have a worm in our cabin.
Well, I don't mind if I... Oops! Must have tripped on the rug.
We don't got a rug.
Oh, nice place you got here. It's kind of...
What is it?
I guess I got the hiccups.
Water, quick. Best cure for hiccups, old chappie.
So Boris and Natasha tried every known hiccup remedy and cure available. Ice water, hot water, more ice water, head in the bag, holding the breath.
How about standing on my head?
No!
What do we do?
What else? We scare him. Oh, that poor little fellow.
What's that?
Your little friend Rocky just fell overboard.
Rocky!
And Bullwinkle went flying out of the cabin, tripped on the door sill, catapulted over the rail, and still stuffed with explosive, plummeted toward the deck 30 feet below. Don't fail to see our next episode, Bullwinkle Makes a Hit, or I Get a Bang Out of You.